ASMR try. Today we're going to have some whispering noises whilst taking a look at a replica belt. The one you can see in front of you is what's known as probably the most famous wrestling belt, known as the Winged Eagle. This was the first replica belt that I ever owned. I've had it since 2015, and I genuinely believed that it would be the only one that I own, because they're not exactly cheap, these replicas. However, I now own 36 belts. I'm struggling for room to find where to put them. So who do you think of when you see this belt? Who comes to mind? I've been watching wrestling more or less for 30 years, with some gaps in the middle, whether due to COVID or just being too young to understand it. There's lots of different reasons. When it comes to the Winged Eagle, there's many names that come to mind. It was around from 1988 to 1998, and most recently it made an appearance when Cody Rhodes faced Kevin Owens at Saturday night's main event. He, fitting in with the retro vibe, he brought back the title for one night, and then that became a whole big story there between the two of them before Kevin Owens got hurt. That feels like a long time ago. So yeah, who do you think of when you see that belt? To think the likes of people that have held that belt: Hulk Hogan. I believe the person who held it the most amount of times during its duration, I could be wrong, I'm just going by memory here, is Bret the Hitman Hart. I believe all of his reigns were with this belt, and I believe he won it 5 times. And ironically, it was still this championship when the famous Montreal Screwjob happened. Many other greats have held this title. The likes of The Undertaker, The Ultimate Warrior. He used to wear it with different colour straps when he beat Hulk Hogan for it at WrestleMania 6. Sergeant Slaughter took it off of The Ultimate Warrior, and ironically he was the champion. He was the person who was holding this belt when I was born. The last person to hold it was Stone Cold Steve Austin, who's my favourite wrestler of all time, the first wrestler I ever saw on TV. And he won it at WrestleMania 14 against Shawn Michaels, when Mike Tyson was the special enforcer. You thought he was on the side of Shawn and DX, but his true colours were shown that night. And I tend to agree with Steve. It is a shame that Mike did the 3 count really fast. I think it would have been benefiting from doing a slower count. And yeah, the following night he had what was known as the Big Eagle. But I don't think Steve was a fan of that belt. But that could be a future episode. That could be a future video. Trying to think of the other greats that held this belt. Randy Savage. the Macho Man. Oh yeah. Won the tournament at WrestleMania 4. Beat the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, in the final. Andre the Giant held it briefly. And then there was that controversy where he was trying to sell the belt to Ted DiBiase. It's a shame because I think Ted should be credited with at least one reign with this belt, but it wasn't to be. And of course, famously, when Ric Flair left WCW, or NWA as it was back then, he had a falling out with management. And he came in 1991, he came in with what was known as the Big Gold Belt, declared himself the real world's champion. And Bobby Heenan presented the belt before he debuted. And everyone was thinking of that dream match, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. And it never materialised. But Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble in 1992. Because the belt was vacated, I believe. It was because of the circumstances of some Hulk Hogan and Undertaker matches. Because they had like 2 matches in the space of a week and it was really controversial. So Flair ended up defending against Randy Savage in the end. And Randy won it again. And then Hulk faced Justice in a main event that was cool, but the finish was very screwed up. Obviously, not that night, but Sid Justice, Psycho Sid, he's also held this belt. And he faced The Undertaker at WrestleMania 13 in a forgettable main event, shall we say. Wondering if there's anyone that I've missed. Yokozuna comes up. I'm doing this all from memory, guys. I'm not looking at anything on the internet here. I'm just rambling, if anything. Obviously, Yokozuna beat Bret Hart and was champion for what felt like 5 to 10 minutes after Hulk pulled his imaginary Money in the Bank card and somehow ended the night as champion at WrestleMania 9. Remarkable turn of events when you think about it. I think that's the majority of champions. I'm probably missing people out. Diesel, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Kevin Nash held that belt for a year. That's worrying how I almost forgot a reign that long, but that was during a time when the WWF was really going through a difficult spell. They'd moved on from the Hogan era, but they hadn't really found their next superstar. And then eventually Shawn Michaels as well, when he had the Iron Man match with Bret Hart. That was his first championship. It's hard to believe that he won the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row. And he didn't actually win the main belt until 96. What's your favourite memory of the Winged Eagle? Let me know in the comments if there's anything. Or your most fond memory of this belt. Like I said, I got this in 2015. It's a Figures Inc. replica, so it's not an actual recreation of the title, but it was made in 2007. But it still has, luckily it still has the WWF logo. As modern recreations of this belt can't actually be made with them anymore. So even though it doesn't look as good as the newer replicas in that sense, the fact it has that logo on makes it worth every penny for me, and I know it would be quite rare to sell it, which I don't plan on doing. And I actually wore this belt to my first ever convention It was the London Wrestling Convention in 2015, and I wore it round my waist the whole event, and it felt like I was wearing a corset. By the time I did the last photograph that day, I think it was with Shawn Michaels, I think you can tell in my face how much it was hurting. But it was worth bringing it that day because Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, obviously being two legendary holders of that belt, being the headliners that day, and so many other people being there. Trish Stratus, Lita. I think I actually got starstruck over D'Lo Brown of all people because I remember doing his head bobble and his the way he walked as a kid, it was always cool to mimic. So yeah, I think I could use this in future cosplays maybe. It would work great as a Bret Hart or something like that. Anyway, I think I'll leave this one there. So thank you for listening if you have. Hopefully it has. With these noises here, this background noise, hopefully it provides you with some comfort and listening to me ramble. So thank you for spending your time watching this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.